everybody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bench.
There's this feeling going around the graffiti community where a lot of people feel as if there's been a death of original style in this art form. Almost as if everybody's graffiti looks the same. So today we're going to tackle why exactly that might be the case and why that actually has some validity to it. Now personally, I think this issue has been something that's been festering for decades now, even before the internet. So follow me along here. You have a brand new graffiti artist, day one, really interested in the art form, wants to get into it, doesn't know where to go. They open up Instagram, they open up YouTube, they open up Pinterest, and immediately they see polished wild styles, popular lettering structures, extensions that are really common amongst the top tier graffiti artists out there, specific color combinations, and techniques from writers around the world. Before that beginner even has a single idea on how to construct the actual underlying letter structure, they already have a huge library of other people's answers in their head. This creates several problems. The main one being their decisions stop really being exploratory. For example, when they draw a letter like A, E, S, whatever it might be, they stop asking, how can I build this letter structure? Instead, they're unconsciously asking, which version of this A have I already seen from a different graffiti artist? Or how did this other graffiti artist do this A? And as a result of that, they never spend time making their own decisions about the art. Now, the new artists may believe that they're actually innovating, but they're often just rearranging familiar shapes, extensions from another writer, arrows from a different guy, a connection from some random tutorial that they went ahead and saw, or a color scheme from yet again another writer. If you're struggling to learn the basics and you're like, John, I want to find my own style, but I do really find myself copying other people and like looking to inspirations in Instagram, Pinterest, so on and so forth, then I got a solution for you. Catch up to the thousands of people that have already bought my book and got out of the toy phase and found their style. It'll teach you everything you gotta know about graffiti and its fundamentals and how it works. It'll teach you how to flow. We'll teach you how to find your style step by step even. We'll teach you how to evolve that style for the rest of your artistic career. And we'll explain things that have never been talked about in graffiti before. We'll answer questions you didn't even know you had. Don't believe me? Check out these people. Some of them just started graffiti. Others have been doing graffiti for decades, and they all learned a great deal from our book. So if you want to start getting better at graffiti, check out the link in the description down below. We have digital copies of the book over at theartistblock.inc with physical copies over on Amazon. Got a link to both of those down below for you. Let's get back to the video. Now, early on, everything that they do is going to be pretty rough, and it may not be impressive, but that process lasts until the person is really experienced. They could be 10, 20, 30 years in, and as a result, they're still following the same process, but now the end result looks dope. But it can often come off as being more so like assembled rather than something that they discovered. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know, when you see those really unique styles, those unorthodox dudes out there that are doing things that nobody else is doing, that stuff feels discovered. That stuff feels like the actual artist sat there mauling for decades, crafting this style, something special that hits different. When you see the average guy's work, even though it might be amazing, it doesn't come across that way. And this is why. That lack of exploratory nature to a lot of people's work. What we have to understand is that seeing advanced work is not the same as understanding why it works. A beginner might copy complicated letter connections without understanding the structure. They might copy an extension that doesn't support the actual letter itself. They might throw in a distortion that only works because of the original artist's proportions. In other words, they're copying the visual end result without understanding the decisions underneath it. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I said that a lot of artists consume a lot more finished styles before they ever make their own decisions. And that brings us to the next big thing for this topic, and that is because they consume so much before making their own decisions, their taste develops before their actual ability. And that's not entirely a bad thing, because this constant exposure to finished styles and like really sick work from your favorite writers, it gives amateurs a very sophisticated taste for graffiti really early on. Now, they'll still like the occasional bad stuff too, because they're easily impressed. Like a bloodhound, man, they know exactly what's dope and they want to copy that thing. They can recognize sick graffiti, but they can't yet produce it. And that makes simple practice feel arduous and boring. It makes it feel like this absolute huge waste of time. Instead of spending time with basic letters and learning how to construct the actual structure underneath before style and then developing from there, they continually chase more complicated styles because their own work never looks as exciting as what they're scrolling past. And as a result of that, they abandon ideas before they give it the chance to develop. And those ideas are what's gonna make up your future style well once you have the foundation to back up those ideas. Now here's the other thing. While social media itself has a huge variety of different styles and different things to look at for graffiti, your particular algorithm has a much more narrow approach. There's some graffiti artists that are really popular. You know, they pop on the algorithm a lot more than others. And these are the people that are going to be more influential stylistically. So when you have a brand new graffiti artist, or just even any graffiti artist for that matter, that's online, they're likely to see the same styles. We're likely to see the same people. It's also how I can tell when a lot of you guys are biting in my critiques. Overall, graffiti is a small community, and we're all familiar with, you know, who's doing what. When you mix that with the fact that most graffiti artists follow the process that we're talking about in today's video, they're bound to be copying the same people. And this process has been happening for decades. It's been happening with people looking at subway art and then copying what they saw in there. It's been happening with people looking at Day in the Life magazines and people copying what's in there. It's been happening for decades. And it's why now you see a lot of the same things over and over and over again. And it seems like there's a death of originality in graffiti. Older local styles often developed from limitations. Writers responded to their actual architecture, their transportation systems, the materials that they had, certain crews that were around, certain influential individual writers that may have been around, but it was very localized. And that's how we arrived at things like the Philly hand style and New York's, you know, style, and various other regional styles around the world that are vastly different from one another. Now graffiti artists can hop online and react to a piece that's on the other side of the world 5 minutes after that piece got done, when in the past that would have taken a few months, maybe a few years in order to see the light of day on the opposite side of the world, which means that styles also traveled more slowly. And not too long ago, you had to actually go outside in order to see dope graffiti. If you wanted to get ideas, you had to visit the wall and find that stuff. There wasn't as much of that inspiration out there, and as a result, you were forced to think and get those wheels turning and come up with ideas and get creative for your style. And to be clear, originality doesn't come from seeing nothing. It doesn't come from not having any inspiration, but rather originality comes from developing and coming up with your own questions about the art form before you start looking at everybody else's answers. That's where originality comes from. But what's a more creative solution? How do we break out of this? And no, I'm not gonna say keep it simple, practice the basics, alright? I'm gonna stay away from that for this video. Alright, now for you intermediate guys, you're at a bit of a crossroads in graffiti. Early on, graffiti artists, you know, it's time for them to absorb as much information and knowledge as they can about the basics. Here for intermediates, it's your time to begin filtering. This is where you begin to craft your actual style. It's here where you're thinking to yourself, alright, I have information about the basics. What do I want to focus on with those fundamentals? And how do I want to do that? What do I want to say with my graffiti, stylistically speaking? Because style is found through experimentation. It's found through looking at your work and saying, you know, this might be a terrible idea. This might look like garbage, but I'm gonna go ahead and try this thing that really interests me. And now, because you have the fundamental knowledge to back yourself up, when you make a mistake, you can say, that idea was bad, here's why. Here's why it didn't work. Here's why it failed. And then you can fix those things to try and get the idea to function. Draw several versions of a single letter or your whole name from your imagination, making sure that all of your core fundamentals are still there and present. Right here is your time to explore ideas. And all the while, when you're doing these different letters, when you're doing these different names, these different pieces, tags, throwaways, whatever it might be, ask yourself the dumb questions. Ask yourself, what happens if I just make this letter more round? What happens if I make all the letters more round? What happens if I make all the letters sharp? What happens if I make this letter big and this letter small? Try things out. Give it a try. See if you like it. See if it works. If it doesn't work, but you like it, go ahead and try to fix it so like that it does work and you like it. Once you've done that, identify the problems you're trying to solve in that piece. These problems are going to be related to the fundamentals. They will be stuff such as, I really want to emphasize flow. All right, well, how do you want to do that? That's one of the problems you may have to solve. Maybe your problem is a mistake you might have made. I really struggle with this letter. I really struggle with this weight on this side of the name. I really struggle getting these letters to be close enough together. All right, well, there you go. That's the problem you're trying to solve. From there, give it a try. Try out different solutions, try out different things to fix that problem on your own. After you do that, now is the time for inspiration. Now we can go ahead and look at our favorite graffiti artists. We're just going to examine what they did. That's it. This guy did a much bigger letter. In order to balance weight, this one went ahead and filled it with an extension. This one went ahead and added 3D. Now you got 3 different solutions you'd like to do. Maybe you can mix and match, maybe you can just do one, but we're not taking any of the actual visual elements that they did. We're just taking the solution. Moving a letter closer, making a letter bigger, adding 3D. That's how we reinterpret the lesson that we learned. And for the love of God, give yourself yourselves the chance to make bad ideas and try out bad ideas. So many graffiti artists are so obsessed with having stuff that looks dope, getting out of the toy phase, doing something that is perfect and absolutely sick, undeniably so, all for the adoration of their peers who don't really care about them. You know, this, God, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but they're so worried about impressing everybody in the community that they forget to take care of their own interests and ambitions and their own ideas. So give yourself the room to make those bad ideas, try them out, because a lot of those bad ideas might be different potential directions for your style to go into. Now, obviously, you can only really do that process if you know your fundamentals, so do keep that in mind. So, in short, the death of originality in graffiti is not an argument against inspiration or the internet, but rather it's an argument on where you put your focus. Artists need enough time to critically think about what it is they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. They need enough time to come up with legitimate questions about what they're drawing and how they want to draw it. And they need enough time away from inspiration, that way they can rely on their own knowledge and skills to come up with the answers. All of that is what gives you originality. It's what gives you style. But dudes, that wraps up today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's have a bit of a discussion about it. Do you feel like a lot of the graffiti out there is the same? And do you feel yourself going in that same direction as everybody else? Let me hear from you down there in the comments. And don't forget about our Ultimate Graffiti Guidebook in the description down below. We got digital copies over at theartistblock.inc with physical copies over on Amazon. Want the best how to do graffiti tutorials anywhere online? Check that out right up here with more graffiti content right down here. And I'll catch you guys back here next week. Thanks for watching.